Hey Comarts, this is my 2003 Chevy S10 pickup, and as you can see, it's pretty beat up and rusty, and is basically a beater with 196,000 miles on it. Now you're probably wondering, why would my family keep a vehicle with 196,000 miles on it? Well, one, stick shifts are fun to drive, and two, car manufacturers just really aren't producing many more stick shifts nowadays. I know a lot of you guys also don't know how to drive stick shift. The reasons of that could simply be you're too afraid to try it out, or you just don't have access, or you might not just be interested. Regardless, I'm going to show you guys the simple ways of driving a stick shift and how it's actually not as hard as you think. Today I want to share with you the two main ideas of how a stick shift works. One is the shifter, the stick shift. And two is the clutch, and how they both work together to make the truck run. So now let's dive in, and I'll teach you how to read and understand the stick shift on a manual transmission vehicle. One of the first things you need to understand before driving a manual transmission vehicle is what I refer to as the H. The H sits on top of the stick of any manual transmission vehicle. As you can see, there are a lot of different numbers and letters on here, each of which represent a different gear. The first gear I'm going to talk about is one of the most important ones, which is neutral. Let's talk about why neutral is important. Neutral disengages all of the other gears in the manual transmission, and it allows the wheels to roll freely without the power of the engine. For the purpose of this video, we will assume that you are learning how to drive stick shift on a flat surface, which means in most situations you would have to start your car in neutral. I will talk to you in a sec of how the clutch and neutral work together. The last letter on the H is R. R obviously stands for reverse. Now reverse is pretty self-explanatory, and once I get into my truck and start driving, I will show you how it works. So you've just heard of how the gears in the stick work. Now let's talk about the clutch and put it all together. As you can see, there are three different pedals down here. The one on my right is my gas, the one in the middle is my brake, and the one on the left is my clutch. The clutch is important in a manual transmission vehicle because it is basically the link between the transmission and the engine of the vehicle. Now let's put it all together. As you can see, we're on a very quiet and calm road, which a beginner should be starting on anyways. Okay, so let's start up the truck. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to push down on my clutch like this, nice and easy, and then on the brake. Then slowly turn the key, and it should start up with ease. Now that my vehicle is started, notice how my foot is still on the clutch, but I'm in neutral, so I can let my foot off of the clutch. If you do this in any other gear, this is what will happen. Now this is the part where everyone struggles the most with, putting it in the first gear. And I can tell you, it's not as hard as you think. Watch closely. So I'm going to put my foot on the clutch. It's all the way down. I'm going to move my gear up in the first, just like that. And I'm going to slowly give gas and let off the clutch. And just like that, we're going. Now I'm going to show you guys how I approach a stop sign from going into third gear and dropping back down in the first gear. So first, obviously, we're already in our first gear. We're gonna let off the clutch, check our blind spot, nice and easy. Now it's time to shift down the second gear, and then we're gonna shift into third gear, just like that, nice and easy. You don't have to push down too hard. Now we're gonna drop down back in the second because we're approaching the stop sign, and then we're gonna nice and easy shift up the first. That is how you should approach a stop sign every time. You shouldn't be shifting out of any other gear but first gear when you're at a complete stop. Now I'm gonna show you guys how to back up a stick shift. So theoretically, it's the exact same thing as backing up a normal car, except it's on a stick shift. So what we're gonna do, I usually start neutral, then I'm gonna go all the way over, down into reverse. I'm gonna let off the clutch, nice and easy, and roll up my driveway. Did you know that in America, only 18% of people know how to drive stick, according to CBSnews.com? As you can see, we're on a live road with cars. I'm going to show you guys how to shift up in the 4th and 5th gear once we get going here. I'm going to shift up the 3rd. Alright, we're about the time where I'm going to shift down in the 4th. It's just like shifting anything else. It's just you're going a lot quicker. Alright. Oh, that car pulled over in front of me. Okay, so now we're going to shift up in the 5th gear. Just like that. There we go. Ah, home sweet home. That was a fun drive. In addition to manual transmission vehicles being fun to drive, did you know that according to Consumer Report, these vehicles can actually save you 2 to 5 miles per gallon? That may not sound significant now, but in the long run, that will save you a good amount of money. Did you know, according to Transport Warehouse, manual cars actually require fewer repairs than automatic cars? Maybe that's the reason why my parents have held on to this truck as long as they have. To recap, the two main ideas when learning how to drive stick shift are the ways of the H and how the stick works with the gears, the clutch, and how both of them work together. Remember, patience is key. It took me a long time to learn how to drive stick, and I promise with a little bit of perseverance and effort, you'll be on the roads driving stick too in no time. Good luck.